what keeps you motivated and inspires you? Because that's what separates champions from everyone else, right?
Yeah, well, I think that most people are just trying to beat the best guy in the world or beat the number 2 guy in the world, whatever the case is. I'm not really trying to compete against number 2 guy in the world because that would be boring. I just, 2018, I would have done that and then just stopped doing jiu-jitsu or got bored with it. Really what I'm trying to do is compete against myself and just be the best that I possibly can before I reach my physical prime in jiu-jitsu, which is somewhere between the ages of 35 and 40 because jiu-jitsu is an isometric based sport rather than an explosion based sport. So you peak much later because your isometric strength fades a lot later than your explosivity. So my real goal is just to be the best Gordon I can be before I go over that hump and I come out of my prime, which should be hopefully around the age of 40 if I'm still healthy. So I'm not really competing against the other guys. I'm just competing against myself because that's how you keep it interesting. My question is always, can the Gordon from 6 months or a year ago beat me up right now? And if the answer is yes, it's a problem. So I always want to be
If
able
the
to.
answer is yes, do you say it's time to move on?
No, it just keeps me honest. I need to change things. Like, obviously the Gordon from 4 or 5 months ago when I was training for like my last match, would be able to beat me up right now because I had surgery. But the answer has never been yes, the Gordon from 6 months ago can beat up the Gordon from Gordon right now, provided I'm healthy. And so I always ask myself that pretty frequently, and that keeps me honest. Like, okay, if the answer is starting to stumble upon yes, then what can I change to make sure that I'm still progressing in a timely fashion and moving into new situations where I have new technology, new techniques, things like that.
Hey guys, on my Patreon, I post free breakdowns from the newest matches I can't share on YouTube. On top of that, you'll find a lot more study material built to level up your jiu-jitsu. I'm sure you'll come across something there that helps your game. The link is in the description and pinned comment. And if you're new, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the next study.
My question now is applicable to anyone into any field or any hobby. You wake up, you don't feel like going to the gym. You don't feel like getting out of bed. You're hurt, you're this, you're that. How do you overcome that and get into the gym, roll, lift weights, do the things that, you know, probably feel in some way sometimes mundane and you just want to do something else.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously different for me because it's my job, and then most people it's just a hobby. Um, but motivation can be an issue, but discipline should never be an issue. So a lot of days I get up and I'm like, man, I'm really fucking tired. But you get up and you do it, and a lot of times you can't go balls to the wall every session. I do 2 sessions a day, every day, Monday to Friday, and then I do Saturday and Sunday 1 session a day, and I lift 4 times a week. So if you go balls to the wall every session, you're gonna be cooked. A lot of times I go and I just go light. I go with people who aren't as skilled as me. I work defensive stuff. I train light. So you have to pace yourself. You can't just go as hard as you can every single round, every session. Otherwise, you just get
So
burnt
you
out.
basically will go in and say, "Okay, I learned this. I was playing around with this new move or from my a move from my back," and then you just get somebody that's not as skilled as you, and then you basically get on your back and you just kind of repping that technique.
Exactly. Yeah. Or I'll grab like a blue belt and maybe I have a guy uh who has he's an up and coming guy who's either smaller than me or my size, whatever the case is, and I know that he has like one move that he's good at. Maybe he's good at a certain kind of triangle, and I'm like, okay, well, I know that he's good at this move, and I'm really tired today, so I'm just gonna let him work through his positions and put me in a triangle throughout the whole round. And I'll try to work out of the triangle and go into my offense, and you know, maybe I get out every time. Maybe he submits me 3, 4 times. Maybe we go back and forth, whatever the case is. But it doesn't matter because it's training. So I just I grab a guy and I work out of bad positions. And when you let a guy pass your guard and mount you and take your back, and then he works into submissions. It's very low energy for you, and the worst case scenario, you get submitted, and then you restart. I pace myself through the sessions and through the week, depending on how my body feels. But for me, it's just like any other job. Like you have a job, you get up, you go to work, and I think that's the big issue in our sport is most people who are even professional athletes competing at a world level. they treat it like a hobby. Like they'll train 3 times a week. I'm like, well, this isn't a hobby. This is your job. Like you have to go there every day. And if you want to excel at it or be the best in the world at it, you have to do like the extra work. So I mean, for me, it's a job, but for most people, it's just the motivation can always be an issue, but the discipline should never be an issue. And you always feel better after a workout. Like a lot of times you're like, oh fuck, I don't want to go and lift weights, but then you go and you lift weights, you're like, oh man, I'm so glad I did that. I feel so much better now. So it's just a matter of just once you get started, it's pretty easy to get through, and then once you get through it, you're like, oh, thank God I did that.
And do you believe that, because I'm sure you've had failure, you have to have failure, is that basically the biggest learning opportunity for you, like when you have to tap in your early years? Did that, as somebody that studies jiu-jitsu or MMA, um does that make you like, fuck, I gotta figure that out, I can't do that again? Does that motivate you more? Or because some people, like, there's shows in Vegas that they try to have a show and it just fails and they run away, they close the doors and they leave town. But others that really have the ability to dream and to want to live that dream, look at that failure as the biggest learning experience of the career, like myself, quite frankly.
Yeah, 100%. Like if a lot of people say you either win or you learn. Well, I think that you should be able to learn just as much from winning as you do from losing. Like even if I win a match, I'll go back and I look at the match that I won, and I'm like, okay, I did this, and this wrong. We should fix that. But because the loss hurts more, you tend to go back and you tend to study that more because you have like an emotional connection to it. But you can learn just as much from winning as you can from losing, because there's always, even if you win a match in jiu-jitsu particularly, there's always some flaws in your game that you can improve upon. But yeah, you need losses, whether it's in the gym, and if you do jiu-jitsu, like you have a lot of those in the gym, especially when you start training. Everybody beats you up.
Gordon, maybe you start. Like, where this confidence comes from?
Yeah, so for me, I'm not really a big believer in like talking myself into confidence. Like, for example, if Bernardo was showing me a move and over the next 6 months I didn't hit the move a single time, and Bernardo told me that I was great at the move, like I wouldn't believe it. Like he can pump me up as much as he wants, but I'm gonna know that I suck at the move. So for me, the confidence comes from repeated success in the gym over a certain amount of time. If I'm practicing an armbar and I can hit that armbar on the world's best guys in the gym, then I'm going to have the confidence to go out and do it against the world's best guys in competition. So for me, the confidence comes from, number one, repeated success over X amount of time in the gym and in training. And number two, the fact that I train with the most dangerous guys in the world. So I know that if those guys in the gym have a hard time submitting me, the guys in competition who don't even know submissions are never going to submit me. So the worst that's going to happen is I'm going to get my guard passed or lose the ref's decision. But it's not like I'm going to go out and get embarrassed to the point where I go out and get heel hooked in the first 30 seconds and my whole brand is destroyed. So between those two things, that's where my confidence comes from.
So confidence on your skills, on your techniques, and also confidence that if your training partners are not getting you, who is gonna get that kind of? Those are the two things that I think differentiates yourself.
I'm confident that I train with the most dangerous guys in the world.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of positions where I give up positions. I start with my back take and I start in fully locked submissions, and then I try to work out. So I'm very confident in my submission defense, and I'm very confident in my ability to escape from pins. I know that if I end up in a bottom mount, for example, I'm not going to get held in bottom mount for 5 minutes at a time and then lose the match. I'm confident that if I do get caught in a defensive cycle, that I can just immediately escape and go right back into an attacking position.
Yeah. Oh, Gordon, you guys do a lot of specific training, right? Where you guys start in the bad spot and that kind of stuff. Right?
Yeah.
We were just talking about that here. Like Nicholas was also saying that he doesn't enjoy that much the porrada training, just shake hands and rolls. And I think where you train with John is like 70 or 80% specific training.
Correct. Yeah, we do usually 4 rounds of positional training, and then we usually do like 2 to 3 rounds of open training.
Got it, man. That's amazing.
Hey guys, on my Patreon, I post free breakdowns from the newest matches I can't share on YouTube. On top of that, you'll find a lot more study material built to level up your jiu-jitsu. I'm sure you'll come across something there that helps your game. The link is in the description and pinned comment. And if you're new, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the next study.